Greetings today. We continue part 2 of the Trustworthy Commander-in-Chief from the book of 1 Peter chapter 4 verses 15 through 19. We begin today with the literal of 1 Peter 4:15. For let not any one of you all, let him not suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evil-doing one, or as one trying to oversee another one's business. What we know about those who are suffering as murderers, thieves, and evil-doing ones and trying to see over someone else's business is twofold. Number one, they're out of step with the commander-in-chief. And two, they've accepted substitute orders because the commander-in-chief has told us to love one another and get along with one another. First of all, we need to take a little introspection. How many of us are suffering for things which are not in keeping with Christ's example and commands? Then a little inspection. How many around us are also suffering for things which are not in keeping with Christ's example and his commands? We go to verse 16 literally, which says, but if as a Christian he should suffer, let him not be ashamed himself, but let him glorify the God because of this particular part or portion. Again, first of all, a little introspection. How few of us are suffering for the things which are in keeping with Christ's example and commands? And then again, a little inspection. How few around us are also suffering for things which are in keeping with Christ's example and his commands? You see, suffering for the cause of Christ is proof that we've been born into his family, that we have been inducted into his service, and that we've been following his orders. This is a concept previously introduced in the same letter in 1 Peter 2:20, when he said, for what glory is it if when you are buffeted for your faults, you shall take it patiently? But if when you do well and suffer for it, you take it patiently, then this is acceptable with God. Jesus said in the last verse of John 16, as it's recorded for us, these things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer, be comforted, take heart, I have overcome the world. In the Beatitudes in Matthew 5, beginning in verse 10, he said, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. To 2 Timothy chapter 3, beginning at verse 10, where Paul says, but thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long-suffering, charity, patience, persecutions, afflictions which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra. What persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. Listen to verse 12 now. Yea, or yes, and all that will, all that desire to live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. I say today to many, if not most, quote, professing Christians, end quote, are striving to avoid any participation in the spiritual warfare that is raging around them. This dereliction of duty renders their attempts at service vain, exposes them and others to defeat by the enemy, and will bring about discipline from the commanding officer. For the most part, we might conclude that the battle is being lost today because of the apathy of the soldiers, of the superior fighting force, the Lord's army. The lack of proper love and respect for the one giving the orders leads to failures and leads us to fail to accept and execute the orders given by him.